They do have two tractors. They got a hot farm and a pro farm, but their pro farm's broke, so it's not here. But they might have their hot farm tractor here. I haven't looked at the lineup for that yet. Here at the Midwest Summer Nationals. And boy, look at the track. He didn't hardly turn a tire until he got 200 feet down the track. Track looks pretty smooth there the first couple hundred feet. And Mark Kelsey and Great Solutions, they've been out here working on the track. They started putting water in this track last week. I think Mark Kelsey said they had 16,000 gallons in the track by Friday, and then Saturday Mother Nature took over and watered the whole fairgrounds for us, so that was kind of nice. And they've been watering it ever since, and you know, this is always a good true test of a track when you start pulling in the afternoon. Thank goodness we got a little cloud cover, and that helps us a little bit, but keeping a track in shape during afternoon pulling, that's always a bit of a challenge. But that was a good pull for Derek Mike. We'll see if he's going to keep it and all that good stuff. He goes 306.88. He keeps the pull, sled set, we're good to go. 306.88. And yeah, a lot of times that first hook is your key to success. But we'll see how this shakes out. But yeah, the track's looking really good right off the bat. Looks like we got plenty of drag and water for it to help keep it in shape all day. This here is going to be the industrial strength tractor. This here's Nick Cunningham. Looks like Nick moved to Leaf River. It used to be Winnebago. Now he's living in Leaf River, I guess. The industrial strength Deere. I haven't seen the tractor out yet this year. This could be his first time out, maybe not. But Nick, he's always been a long time supporter of the Pro Farm class. He's got his eyes on the 4.1 class. I don't know if he's ever going to make the move or not, or if he's actually going to make the move with this tractor. A lot of times the guys will just start over with a new tractor because by the time they switch everything over for a different class, they don't end up with much of the original setup that they had. All right, the industrial strength Deere, Nick Cunningham. Beautiful 5010 John Deere. 306.88, mark to me. Taking all the power he's got to offer. Kind of bouncing a little bit towards the end of his run. I don't think it's going to affect his distance too much, but I'm sure he felt it in the seat. Want to thank some more of our great sponsors here for the Stevenson County Fair. Want to thank the good folk at Atkins Energy, also Citizen State Bank, Freeport Ford, Savenkia, Triangle Tree Care, Rev Renewables, Foresight Financial Group, Compeer Financial, the Carol Fluegel family, TriStar Metal, Kohlberg High Performance Tractor Repair, Cerrone Piping Company, and Titan Tire. Titan Tire, they've really stepped up this year with their support of the Stevenson County Fair and tell you some of the stuff they got going on out at Titan Tire. Well, let's see. Nick Cunningham, he had to beat 306.88. He takes it out 310.02. That's going to be your new leader. 310.02 for Nick Cunningham. His uncle Scott Burkhardt will be coming up next with the Get Her Done. Another longtime supporter of the Pro Farm class. But Scooter does have himself another tractor. He's got himself an 88 series tractor for the 4-1 class. All right, Scooter Scott Burkhardt hooking up to the sled now with the 1466. He calls Get Her Done. 310.02, the new mark to beat. Not sure what that was all about. We need a tow off, Scooter. We're going to need a tow off on the track. I'm not sure what transpired. Did I hear some clunking in the drive line as it come to rest? That's what I thought. Something in the drive line broke. You could hear it clunking as he slowed up there. He felt it right away because he pulled the throttle back. But something was clunking. That wasn't you that was clunking, was it, Scooter? Something in the driveline rear end. Yeah, that's a tough break for the old Get Her Done. And we'll get you a tow off from a classic old propane-powered Minneapolis Moline. Well, that's a tough break for Scooter. He goes 125.22, and he's going to have to open that tractor up when he gets it home and see what parts he needs to order. I imagine there'll be a few on the old list. Well, tough break. Yeah, give him a big hand, everybody. Scooter going to make 300 feet the hard way on the back of a G1000. Yeah, hopefully it isn't too bad, Scooter, and hopefully you got parts or you can get them right away and get her fixed up. And we're down to our last tractor of the class. Right now, Nick Cunningham's our leader. And driving them. Kelly, she took over driving the tractor here. This is going to be her 6th time. She had to take over for the regular driver. The regular driver, he got busted up a little bit. So Kelly, she jumped in the seat. She's got the tractor sitting 2nd place in the points with the Pullers Incorporated organization. Oh no, I'm not sure what that was all about. She slams the steering wheel. I don't know if her hand slipped off the throttle or what. She was getting going. She was hooked up, but she's well past 100 feet. We'll see if they're going to give her some grace. Now they're going to pull her back and give her one more crack at it, showing her a little bit of grace. So Kelly Bryant going to get one more shot at it. Comes out of Ripon, Wisconsin. The Cruising Confusion, they call it. Right now, Nick Cunningham's our leader. He's at 310.02. Derek Mike sits in 2nd at 306.88. And our last two having a little bit of trouble. Scooter, he busted something, stops at $1.25. And Kelly Bryant, they're pulling her back for her 2nd and final attempt here. Bounced the front end pretty good. Tractor's still running, that's a good thing. Knocked the front tire off on this side. That we're gonna need an apparatus to get her off the track. Might be able to slide it on out. Either that or we're gonna need a telehandler to pick the front end up and carry it on out of here. Boy, she had a tough go the first time, and the second time was even tougher. That's a tough break. Yeah. Hey, Willie, you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of that old country song. You know which one I'm talking about. You picked a fine time to leave me, loose wheel. Well, anyway, that's... Yeah, she got a loose wheel there and picked a fine time to leave her. $1.88 for Kelly, having a tough ride out there today. And we got an apparatus to come in and pick her up and get her out of here anyway. Well, she's peeling her helmet off. That's her 6th time down the track, folks, and she won't forget that one anytime soon. Let's give her a big hand. Kelly, are you still smiling? All right, she's smiling and got a thumbs up. That's good. I think the track probably surprised her as much as anything, because the track appears to be excellent. Not very good, but excellent. So that'll make our light supers. That'll make that an exciting class coming up next, because they got way more horsepower than they do weight, and they you guys got to go to Goshen next, don't you? Yeah. So Goshen's not on your, or Kansas is not on your way. Okay, first order of business, down here on the pit side, we can't have people sitting on the barriers. You lean against it, that's fine, but you can't have your child sitting on the barrier. Just think if that wheel would have hit your little boy there, that would have not been good. So that's first order of business. And here's how our finishing order is going to be. Let's see. Oh, boy. All right, here we go. Here's how we're going to finish up. Nick Cunningham takes the win with the industrial strength John Deere. He was at 3:10.02. Derek Mike finishes in second with his international 3:06.88. They're the only two that really got down the track unscathed. Kelly Bryant is going to finish third with her front wheel busting off run of 188. And Scooter Scott Burkhardt busting something in the drive line, rear end probably. Going to finish in fourth at $1.25. So that's how they're going to finish up. Nick Cunningham is your winner. So we'll want to see Nick Cunningham up here. All right, it's time to go light super stock. Champions Tour class, Pro Pulling League coming to the line. This is going to be good. This is going to be Mark Philitrew out of Cox Creek, Kentucky, burning daylight. All right, Mark Philitrew. Now that I got his enunciation right, Mark Philitrew. Yeah, if you don't correct me right away, you might as well just change your name because I'll have it wrong forever. Mark Philitrew out of Cox Creek, Kentucky. A Ford he calls burning daylight. First puller up here, light super stock, Pro Pulling League Champions Tour. Over and the power went away. Lucky for him, he is our test puller. On the west end side of the track, you're parked across from all the campers. Behind you're parked on the other side of the caution tape, and I guess we got to keep that area open. And here's what you got for a vehicle: Chevy pickup, crew cab, license 1642087. We got a Ford Ranger, license number 41-JLL. It says it's got a John Deere hitch cover on it. Okay, I'll go with that. We got a white GMC. License number 153174, black Chevy Equinox, BASSS3, license number, got a Dodge 4x4, 3294494, and a GMC white with dealer plates on it on top of it. License number 1414AE. You guys are all parked down here, west end of the grounds here, on the other side of the road from the campers, but you're on the wrong side of the caution tape. Willie, you got your tow truck here? If we got, he just turned the pole down. I kind of suspected that hopefully he can figure out why it laid over on him. Hopefully just a fuel setting that he can adjust and give her some more fuel later on in the run. But yeah, you know, when you pull in here and park, if there's some yellow caution tape somewhere, it's probably there for a reason. So, you know, kind of pay attention to that a little bit. We kind of changed the layout of the place too. So some things, if you parked there in years past, that might have been good, but it might not be good this year because we kind of reconfigured things. So I'll give you a break that you can say, well, I've always parked here. That's my reserved spot. All right, we got the first of a pair of Kansas cases coming to the line. This here is going to be Dale Haug on the Big Temptation. Classic 1370 case. Beautiful looking tractor, and these are true cases. I think Elmer, he runs the largest case salvage yard in the United States. So if you need a part for a case tractor, you give Elmer a call and he'll have it. He'll probably have it already pulled off a tractor and filed away on the shelves back in the stock room. Alcohol burner, 504 cubic inches. What a pass. Dale Haug with the Big Temptation. Man, that was a beautiful run. He wicked it up pretty hard on the line, and then she started hooking up. Then she started hooking up, and he started gaining speed. Picked the front end up, and away he went. And he kind of started angling off towards the left-hand side of the track down here. And I don't know if that was by design, but it certainly did not hurt his distance. You look at our speed board down there, he attained 32.3 miles an hour on that pass. That's getting her done. That's hauling the mail. 32.3 miles an hour. That was his top speed achieved. And that, he's got himself 40,000 pound weight transfer in tow. 314.19. That's going to be your leader. 314.19. Dale Haug out of Centralia, Kansas. He sets the standard here. That's going to be no gimme for anybody else now. Tractor ran clean all the way through too. That's always the best part. Yeah, all these light super stock guys, they're just kind of passing through, especially with the Temptation team from Kansas. They're passing through on their way to Goshen, Indiana, on the second leg of their Midwest summer vacation. Got the Haug pulling team up here on the stage, and they said that this run here between Stevenson County Fair and then Goshen, Indiana here the next couple days, they're calling this the Temptation Vacation. That's a pretty good vacation, the Temptation Vacation. You take your pulling tractors, you hit the road for a few days. This here going to be Mike Novinger out of Shelbyville, Missouri. The Little Dominator, he calls it. Got his daughter, Michelle, backing him up to the sled. And Michelle's tractor's broke. She broke her tractor. I guess they got bearing issues with the crankshaft. And she said it's the second time, so she said they're going to pull that motor out and get a new one built. So she doesn't get the drive. She just gets to be crew chief today. This here going to be Mike Novinger, Shelbyville, Missouri. Well, he was humming the heights pretty good. He never quite got the traction that the Temptation did. He didn't pick the front end up until he got out here a couple hundred feet. And that was actually probably when the pans started settling down on the weight transfer machine. And putting a little load on him. Ellie, give it a good run. 296.87, 296.82, I'm sorry, 296.82. I'm a little dyslexic once in a while, just so you know. And I'm really old. 296.82. The Big Temptation, 314.19, gonna bring up past champion Bobby Jones, Pleasant Hill, Illinois. Tractor he calls Field Sobriety. Be our next puller. A couple years ago, he had a season to remember. He cleaned up. He won many events and the national championship, all in one shot. I got to hand it to our track crew. This is all new track crew this year. The builders and the maintainers, everybody. It's all new personnel, and they're getting their groove. You know, there's no dress rehearsal on this. It's start the pull and let's figure it out. And they're getting their groove pretty good. All right, Bobby Jones out of Pleasant Hill, Illinois. That's down south quite a bit. Oh, we got our 50-50 raffle going on. Our Freeport Junior ROTC, they're doing a 50-50 raffle here. They're working around here. So yeah, and the thing about a 50-50 is you can't win if you're not in. You can't win if you're not in. And Bobby Jones, he's doing a little something. He moves the sled, the X Factor weight transfer machine. He moves it over to the right-hand side just a smidgen, gets it off the center of the track. Probably trying to split the ruts maybe just a smidgen. But yeah, we got the X Factor sleds doing all of our stopping this week. Brandon Bungart, he got here. We all had a little get together out here Sunday, and Brandon Bungart, he was already here with the X Factor sleds. He's washing them all up, giving them a bath. Here we go, Bobby Jones. Oh no, that's disaster. Disaster for Bobby Jones. There's aluminum parts all over the track, and here comes a couple gallons of oil out of the oil pan. Oh no. He just destroyed the engine in that Case IH MX 210. No, terrible, terrible luck. And we got aluminum parts on the track. Lots of it. Yeah, our Stevenson County Fair Track Crew Committee, you guys want to get out there and start picking parts up off the track. Yeah, head out there, boys, grab a bucket. There's plenty of it. Bring them up to me. I like to see what we got, but I think we got connecting rods. We got a couple gallons of oil. Oh, there's more behind the sled. That's just disaster. Well, as much as it hurts, he's got his helmet off. Let's give him a big hand. That's all he's going to get. Bobby Jones, I am so sorry. Boy. Yeah, they're picking parts up. I can see dimples on the sheet metal from the inside out on this side of the tractor. So when it started kicking the connecting rods out, they went out the side and hit the sheet metal from the inside out. Plus we got a couple gallons of oil on the track we'll need to dispose of properly. Yeah, boy, that's starting us off with a bang, but that's not the bang you want. Yeah, now that tractor's pretty much all built by Blackburn, Terry and Josh Blackburn. I don't know if they got a spare motor for him sitting up there in Cuba City or not. They might. You guys don't pull till Thursday out at Goshen, correct? You guys don't pull till Thursday at Goshen? So he's got a little time, but you got to have a motor. Yeah. They won't be fixing that one anyway. Boy, I just hate to see that because I'm a puller myself, and I know how much work and money and blood, sweat, and tears goes into these things, and you just hate to see that happen to a puller. Because that's major deal there. That's destroyed. That engine's destroyed. Hey, bring the wash tub up here when you guys are done filling it up with parts. I kind of like to look and see what we got in there. Hey, bring me that wash tub. I want to see what's in there. Bring it around here. Holy crap. Wow. This is just about everything. Boy, we got connecting rods, we got wrist pins, we got engine block. Wow. That is complete and total destruction. Wow. That looks like a rod bolt that probably give it up. I wonder if that's what started it all. Wow. That is carnage. Take that down and see if Ryan Zolik can take a picture of it. Hey Ryan, they're going to bring the bushel basket down here with all the parts. See if you can get a shot of it to put up on our Jumbotron so all the fans can kind of see the carnage that Bobby Jones just experienced out there on the track, because there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in that wash tub. Thing's got pretty big connecting rods in it too, man. They're huge. But that one is in two pieces that's laying in the bottom of that pan. We're going to see if we can get a shot of it and get it up on our Jumbotron here so everybody can take a look at it, because it was complete and total destruction. They're trying to get a shot of it down there. See if they can get it. No, there it is. There it is, folks. You can see the big silver parts. That's an aluminum connecting rod, and that's supposed to be in one piece, and it's not. And you see to the right of that connecting rod, you see that long silver brown piece. That's a wrist pin. That's supposed to be in that connecting rod, holding the piston in the cylinder. That's not where it's supposed to be either. Then all the other little pieces in there, cast iron from the engine block and various other items from inside the engine. I seen there was a piston ring in there and a rod bolt. But there you go. I can't imagine how many tens of thousands of dollars you're looking at right there in that bushel basket. Wow. Well, that's, man, I tell you what, I hate to see that for a puller, as a puller myself, because that stuff like that will put you out for the season unless you're well prepared with lots of spare parts. And, we're getting late July now. We don't have, but a little over a month of season left. So that's a tough break for Bobby Jones. Well, we're getting things started off in a hurry here. So far, we busted the front end off one tractor, gutted the engine in another. Next thing you know, we'll have Willie's tow truck out here hooking to the sled or something. And thanks Ryan and our IT guys, our camera crew, for being able to get that shot of that bushel basket full of parts to put up on the Jumbotron for everybody to kind of take a look at. That's what I like. I want you folks to see what goes on. You know, we watch them go down the track. Yay, that's really cool. But there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that happens, and I want you folks to see some of it. I didn't want you to have to see that, but I'm glad we was able to show it to you. And I thank Brian Zolik, our IT guy, and his crew for getting that up on the big screen for us and giving you guys all a chance to look at it and maybe give you a little more appreciation for what these guys go through. Well, we're going to give him 200 feet on the pull before he gutted his engine out. 200 feet for Bobby Jones, 200.52. All right, this is Scott Whitworth, Worthington, Missouri, the Nano Yield. Up here, feel like a pigeon eating grit. That's a new tractor for the Whitworths this year, I do believe. Well, Scott Whitworth is with his new tractor, the Nano Yield machine. He goes 299.47, 299.47 for Scott Whitworth, and that's a new tractor for him this year. I'm used to their 4010s and 4020s, and that's a new one for him this year. Yeah, this is his first chance to relax in the last week. It's pretty interesting. You find yourself getting on top of a 4,000 horsepower pulling tractor as your chance to relax. Well, let's wish him well. He's been a tremendous asset to us here at the Midwest Summer Nationals, getting his track put into shape for us. Al trying to get him hooked up. He doesn't really chase one circuit. Mark doesn't. He's pretty busy with his excavating business, and he pulls when he can. He pulls a lot with ISP. He runs in their 6,000-pound open class. Yeah, it looks like they're having a little trouble getting him hitched up down there. And you know that's another thing you don't think of too often, but the X Factor sled, the Bungart's coming up here and doing our stopping for us. Most of these a lot of these pullers, like Mark Kelsey, he doesn't see the X Factor sleds very often. We got our local sleds that we run around this part of the country, and it appears they're having a little trouble getting the hitch in the drawbar. They'll get it in there. we got green. We got green on the sled, so they must have him hooked up. All right. Got him hitched up. Get the slack out of the chain. And Mark Kelsey from Davis. This here's a pretty good runner. He's got 3 turbochargers on alcohol. I've watched him pull some powerful passes when he run that open class with the ISP. Yeah, they're looking at more stuff down there. And the green light's gone on the sled, so we'll see what they're thinking now. Well, I'll let you know when I know, but my suspicions are we got something with the hookup not working as best as it could. But now we're back to green, so hopefully we got it all resolved. All right, there we go. We got green all the way around. There we go, Mark Kelsey. He gives his pulling track a test, the track that he built. He gives it a test, and boy, he picks the front end up and comes out of here with a very good-looking distance running against these Champions Tour competitors. Oh boy, it's getting crowded. It's getting crowded for second place anyway. The Big Temptation's still your leader, 3:14, and Mark Kelsey just went 299.33, 299.33. That's going to put him in third place. Scott Whitworth went 299.47. So that's, what's my math on that? 1300ths of a foot? Yeah, 1400ths of a foot. Mark Kelsey comes up short of getting it into second place. So you take a foot, chop it up into 100 pieces, and 14 of those, that's how many he's behind getting into second place behind Scott Whitworth. That's pretty close. Nice pull for the local guy, Mark Kelsey. Don't know what the problem was getting him hooked up down there, but once they got the hitch established in the drawbar, it was go time for Mark Kelsey. And he picked the front end up pretty good. The track's showing that it's taking some pretty good power and traction and front end weight. Yeah, there you go. You can see our leaderboard up there. You see the 299.47 and the 299.33. At the top of the leaderboard, the Big Temptation, the Temptation Vacation, leading this thing, 3:14. 2 tractors to go. This is going to be David Easteb out of Franklin, Indiana. The Eaton Dollars machine. 4010 John Deere. And David Easteb, he's been pulling light super stock for a long time. He was one of the last holdouts of the diesel persuasion, and he ran the old grease burner as long as he could, then finally switched over to alcohol fuel. And he's been a very good supporter of the Pro Pulling League here in our Champions Tour Light Super Stock division. He moves the sled over to the left side of the track just a smidgen. Nobody's going real far towards the sidelines, just getting a little out of the middle. So let's see, we got the 4010 John Deere, David Easteb, Eaton Dollars. nosing over, and boy, he comes rolling to a stop with a lot of blow-by coming out the bottom. Going to need a tow off for him? Yep, bring our tow tractor. Who do we got for our tow tractor? Oh, that's right, we got our test puller coming back too. Forgot about him. Yeah, we got Mark Filiatru coming back too. So we got a couple of them to run. All right, 208.73, 208.73 for David Eastab as he comes rolling to a stop. And I'm concerned about his pistons in that tractor. She was huffing pretty good as he came to a stop. And when they're huffing like that, pushing a lot of blow-by out, that's generally a pretty good sign that you got some piston wear inside. That'd be my concern, because when you get a lot of piston wear, you're not sealing up, so you're not getting the turbocharger boost that you need, and then it all comes down to an end like that. They're kind of looking at the blow-by oil on the track. Fairly significant, is it? Yeah, or about normal? Yeah, that'd be my concern. And when I say piston clearance, sometimes you just flat burn a piston. You could take and torch the side of the piston out. But hopefully that's not the case. Again, these guys are all going to Goshen, Indiana. Competition Thursday in Goshen, Indiana at the Elkhart County Fair out there. 208.73. We're going to bring up the second leg of our Temptation Vacation coming up next. This is going to be the boss. This is going to be Elmer Haug. Centralia has the Little Temptation. All right, here comes the patriarch of the Temptation team. It's going to be Elmer Haug, the Little Temptation. And I got the Temptation crew up here on the stage, and they're giving me all kinds of pointers. And they said this is Elmer's tractor. This is the one he drives all the time. And the boys, Dale and Brian, they take turns driving the Big Temptation. But this one's Dale's tractor, or Elmer's tractor, the Little Temptation. And these are true cases. The true case motor, they're not repowered with another brand, which is totally legal. Some people don't like it, but the purist, I guess. But Elmer Haug, he's like, no way. These are all cases through and through. And right now we got the Big Temptation holding the lead at 3:14. The only tractor past 300 feet, Dale Haug, sits number one. 2 tractors to go, Elmer Haug, and then we're going to have the Burning Daylight Ford coming back. Well, it's all set to go. motor starts popping at the end of the run. He didn't have a whole much more distance left into it. Not sure what the popping was. It's unusual to say the least. But the little Temptation's not going to catch the big Temptation. Matter of fact, it's not going to catch a few tractors. 295.93, 295.93. That puts him in 5th place. Elmer Haug on the little Temptation. One tractor to go. We got Mark Filiatru coming back with his Ford out at Cox Creek, Kentucky. He was our test puller. He went 249 and the motor kind of laid over on him. And I don't know why. A fueling problem would be my guess. So they've went back to the pits and hopefully made some adjustments and going to be able to make a full pass this time. But right now, one tractor remains between the Big Temptation and victory here at the Stevenson County Fair. And this is what they're after here. This is what they're after here, the championship belt for the Stevenson County Fair. This is what they're after. This is for light super stock. I'd like to have one of these that says Mini Rod tonight. That looks so good hanging above my fireplace, or it'd probably ride around in my trailer for the rest of the season first. One tractor to go. Here we go. Coming all the way up from Cox Creek, Kentucky. Mark Filiatru calls the tractor Burning Daylight. Ford. And I tell you what, the Fords used to be the tractor to have in light super stock action. Then they started leaning on them so hard that the engine blocks started becoming suspect. Well, this is it. One last tractor to run. One tractor stands between the Centralia, Kansas case, the Temptation Vacations, and victory here today. 3:14 to mark the beat. Mark Filiatru, Cox Creek, Kentucky. Last one to go. Results about the same as the first time, except it happened sooner this time. And a little pop to add to it. It's like it's running out of fuel. Just certainly what it seems to me like, because it's running good, and then it just goes away. It just seems like it's running out of fuel for some reason, and that's going to be what he's going to have to find out. He's got his helmet off, folks, all the way from Cox Creek, Kentucky. Let's give him a big hand. Boy, and I'll tell you what, these guys are all heading to Goshen, Indiana in the next couple days, and several of them, they got to stop at the fix-it shop and get them straightened out before they go. Series class, but you know what? I'm familiar with every one of these guys on this list. The Relentless truck, Joe Wiltsey, Maple Park. Ford F-350, and he's got that optional 10-foot box on that truck. You know, when you ordered your new pickup truck back in the day, if you ordered it from the factory and you checked that one box on the order form and you wanted that optional 10-foot box, that's what you got. What you had, Joe Wiltsey's got on here, the optional 10-foot box on the back of the truck. This is the one they call Relentless. He was probably one of the last holdouts running a Power Stroke diesel engine in his truck, and he ran that till he just couldn't get any more out of it, and finally he succumbed to the Cummins trend and switched it over to Cummins diesel, which is the dominant motor. There's a couple Duramaxes out there yet. Here we go, Joe Wiltsey, Maple Park. An hour. I think he picked it up a tenth or two, and he's out there a good distance. He ran it right down the same tracks, and I can see why. There's some pretty good moisture right there where the boys have been running. Oh boy, he had to beat 321.03. 321.03 is what he had to beat. Joe Wiltsey goes 321.09. That's going to be your new leader by 6/100ths of a foot. Yeah, 6/100ths of a foot. That's pretty close. By 6/100ths of a foot, he goes into the lead. And you hear the replay, you can watch him. He comes right down the middle of the track. He goes right exactly where Josh Stahl had gone on the first hook of the class, and just noses him out by 6/100ths of a foot. Takes over the lead, the Relentless truck, Joe Wiltsey. That's pretty good. Good thing we got a laser measuring that. I can't imagine getting out there with a tape measure. I don't know if it's on that side of the mark or this side of the mark, you know. That's how we used to measure these things. Well, 6/100ths of a foot, you take a foot and you chop it into 100 equal pieces, right? It's 6 of those. That's not very much. Yeah, that's a whisker. But yeah, it was nice to hear Dale Hogg singing the praises of our pulling track out here, and he was right when he was talking about pulling in the afternoon can be a challenge, keeping a pulling track in decent shape, because you know you get the sun beating on it, you get a little breeze rolling across it. It just wants to do nothing but suck the moisture out of it. But Mark Kelsey and Vern Weber, they've done a tremendous job building this track. Got a lot of moisture down in it. Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff to work with. And it's looking good thus far. That's when you really, is a good test of a track, is if it'll hold up during afternoon pulling. This here going to be Greg Stranley from Stoughton. Truck he calls Out of Hand. And that's a fitting name for a truck. When they started pulling diesel four-wheel drive trucks, they got out of hand in a hurry as far as the performance and the money spent on them. Got a Chevrolet repowered with a Cummins. not bouncing or anything. That's a sign of a lot of things working together really well. The truck and the track. Now Greg Stranley going to come up a little short, 3:14.63, 3:14.63. That'll make Cole Faber out of Lemoyne, Illinois, with a truck called the Rumor, our next puller. Well, we want to thank some of our great sponsors here for the Midwest Summer Nationals. Want to thank the good folks at Custom Tire Cutting, Bob Parks and his crew. He's got his booth down here on the infield side with his new Parks Puller tires. Also MB Machine, Consolidated Grain and Barge, Nutrin Ag Solutions, also Bordner Electric, Baumgartner Automotive, Fast Turn Supply, and G&M Distributors. Big thanks to all them folks stepping up and helping us out with our Midwest Summer Nationals for 2025. This here going to be Cole Faber. Cole Faber from Lemoyne, Illinois. A truck called the Rumor. And I think he's still Duramax powered unless he switched over. Trying to see if I can find a truck guy around here to confirm that or not. Last thing I want to do is give out misinformation. I like to tell nothing but the facts as I know them. See how I qualified that, as I know them? Yeah, but I think he was a Duramax guy. Yeah, all right. He succumbed. He switched over. It's a Cummins now. He was one of the last holdouts running the Duramax. So I got the word. It's official. He succumbed. Well, really, and it's just plain. It makes sense, you know. The Cummins motor's got all the R&D behind it, parts availability. There's lots of it. So and they make good power. You can't argue that either. Is it going to yield the big distance or not? And we're getting a good shot of the diesel smoke in here. One thing about it, we will not get bit by any mosquitoes the rest of the day here, because once you get that good coating of diesel smoke on you, mosquitoes, they aren't interested in that. They're looking for something a little more tasty. Well, how far did we get with the Rumor? How about 3:15.72? 3:15.72. That's going to put him in third place. Right now, Joe Wilsey with a relentless Ford is our leader, 3:21.09. Josh Stahl sits second at 3:21.03. Our next puller, he is going to be a traveler coming in from Winchester, Kentucky. This is going to be Scott Willoughby. Interstate Diesel truck is what he got. Want to thank the good folks at G&M Distributors, also Mobile Electronics, Heritage Tractor, Highland Community College, ComEd, Musser Crop Services, and K&M Feed Mill, Pearl Valley Farms, also the good folks at Hunter Haven Farms, Solutions Bank, and State Line Solar. Some more of our good friends helping us out here for the Midwest Summer Nationals. All right, this is one of our travelers from the Silver Series coming on up here out of Winchester, Kentucky. Scott Willoughby, Interstate Diesel machine. Yikes. He jumped pretty hard right off the start. Definitely not a smooth start. Well, I don't see anybody scurrying around like he knocked a drive shaft out of it or anything. Although I had my suspicions for a minute there. Well, he's down to his last chance, all the way up from Kentucky, down to his last chance here at the Midwest Summer Nationals. Second attempt, Scott Willoughby. Hopefully he can get it off the line and get her down the track. Now that's not what I want to see. You know, if you come from Lena and that happens to you, well, that ain't too bad. You just got to go back home to Lena. But he's all the way up from Winchester, Kentucky, and not really able to get it down the track. Well, they're going to give him a tow off the track and back to the pits. Tough break. Really sorry to see that. Scott Willoughby, thanks for coming. I wish you got her down the track a little further. Yeah, they'll get her figured out. It just never started bouncing first time really bad, and then the second time just never quite got her lit up. Yeah, we give We give Scott Willoughby 75 feet for his efforts here today. This here going to be Sean Pooler out of Johnson's Creek, Wisconsin. Calls it the end game. Also want to thank the good folks at CarQuest Auto Parts. Also Country Financial, Forston Mutual Insurance Company, and also the Hooker Harness. Big thanks to them folks. Bouncing pretty hard. He clicked the throttle, hit it again, and boy, it just started shoving him around. Luckily, Sean Pooler's a young fella. If that was me in there, I'd be calling my chiropractor, telling him I'll be there in a half an hour. He got bounced around pretty good. Yeah. Well, the upside is I don't think he broke his truck, so that's a good thing, but man, he got bounced around pretty good. Steve, is he okay in there? Was he all right? He drives it off the track. He must be in pretty good shape, but he's a young fella, so he can take a beating like that. 199.36, 199.36 for Sean Pooler. Uh-oh, they're picking more parts up off the track. What'd you guys find? You got to show me. If you're picking parts up off the track, you got to show me what you got. Now what do they got? Is that off his truck? Oh. Oh. Is that all off his truck? He didn't come out of that as unscathed as they thought. He broke a bunch of plastic out of his truck, bouncing down through there. Kind of look like demolition derby scrap. That's better than having a whole bunch of engine parts in a bushel basket coming up. Here comes one of our hometown pullers. This here is going to be Ben Abbey from right here in Freeport, the Charismatic Killer. Chevrolet crew cab pick-em-up truck. Ben Abbey from right here in Freeport. I think he brought a pretty good-sized crew with him today, too. I seen them all getting signed up down there. Oh, there they all are. Yep, they're all down there. Are you guys nervous? 12 trucks in the class, all good ones. He's got his crew down there. They're gonna film him. He's got to go 321. That's where the top two are at. All right, hometown puller Ben Abbey from right here in Freeport, gonna try to win the hardest pull to win your hometown county fair. bounces on him early in the run. And boy, that's when you sit there and you get nervous and you're just like, come on, settle down, settle down. Because a lot of times when they start bouncing like that, it just compounds itself until something bad happens. But it settled down for him, and he come out of it with a good run. 305.98, 305.98 for Ben Abbey. Let's see, that's going to put him unofficially, 1, 2, 3, 4. Unofficially, that's going to put him in 5th place. 5th place, according to my Platteville High School math. Oh, yeah, 50-50 tickets. Be sure to get yours. I got mine. And I'll tell you what. Yeah, get your 50-50 tickets. I got mine. And if you win, you get $5 of my money. And a lot of guys will tell you getting $5 out of me is pretty tough. I'm thrifty. But we got one more class to run here yet this afternoon. That's going to be Hot Farm. Ooh, and we got 13 of them entered up in the Hot Farm class. So we'll sell 50-50 tickets for a bit longer. Try to get it over $100 anyway. Want to thank the good folks at JAD Incorporated. Also Proto Cut Tire Cutting. T&B's Machine. T&B's Performance out of Monroe, Tom and Brenda Foley. I know them well. Also, Ingle King Dyno Service for maximum performance. Ingle King Dyno Service. Also, I want to thank the Riverbend Antique Pullers. Everybody helping us out here with the Midwest Summer Nationals today. It's going to be Ryan Diedolf from Janesville. The Rock Diesel Chevrolet. This is a nice looking truck. Good performing truck also. All right, the Rock Diesel Chevrolet, clean white machine. Ryan Diedolf doing the wheeling here today. Comes out of Janesville. Our first two pullers went 321, and nobody else has come within 6 feet of that. Up on the right-hand side of the track. Nobody's really been up there, that piece of real estate. And it doesn't look like it's going to hurt his distance too much. Come out of it pretty good. Oh, he does come out of it pretty good. 3:17.03. That'll put him in 3rd place. 3:17.03 for Ryan Diedolf. Good for 3rd. Our leader remains Joe Wiltsey with the relentless 3:21.09. Josh Stahl sits 2nd, 3:21.03. And Ryan Diedolf just pulled into 3rd at 3:17.03. We're getting down there. We only got just a handful of trucks yet to run. We'll have Chris Lemke coming up next out of Sandwich with a truck he calls Kurt. here we go. Chris Lemke out of Sandwich. Truck he calls Kurt. He starts to let the clutch out a little bit too soon before he's got his turbocharger boost built up. Yeah, they'll pull him back and get one more crack at it. Chris Lemke out of Sandwich. All right, Chris Lemke, gonna have to make it go this time. Second and final attempt, and he makes it count. Good run. He powered right up in there. I think he's going to be a contender. Well, they're starting to ease it back up there. 3:15.65 for Chris Lemke. 3:15.65, and that looks like, oh boy, that's actually probably a sixth place run, I think. Well, fifth place, I guess, according to our big screen up there. Ryan Zolik, our man on the spot with our IT. Well, we're down to 3 trucks to run here this afternoon in our Pro Stock diesel trucks. And these Pro Stock diesel trucks, they run one turbocharger, but it's a 3.6 turbocharger, and that's 3.6. That's how big the intake is on it. 3.6. That's a pretty big turbocharger to be spinning on your little Cummins motor. If you figure the Super Farm tractors only run a 3-inch intake on them big tractors in Super Farm. Well, this here going to be Matt Penn, the Penn Farms machine, coming up from Edina, Missouri. Matt Penn and his wife Lisa, they go diesel truck pulling all summer long. They run a pretty big corn and bean operation down there in Missouri. Once they got everything all planted, they are off pulling all summer long. We go pull our mini rods down in Illinois a lot, and anytime the diesel trucks are pulling down there, these guys are there. The Penns are at every pull we go to that they offer diesel trucks. See them a lot during the summer. They pull a lot and they're good. Matt Penn, Edina, Missouri. I just talked him all up. He doesn't get it off the line. Well, he gets it off the line, but he sees that it's not gonna sustain the run. He goes ahead and pulls the throttle back, push the clutch in, and they're gonna pull him back, give him one more crack at it. Yeah, that I don't want to say that's unusual and surprising, but Matt Penn, he pulls a lot, so for him having trouble getting it off the line, that tells me a couple of things. One thing is the track is probably very, very good, and they're not spinning the tires like they normally think they would be right off the line. They're kind of locking them up pretty tight. So therefore, we got to get after it a little harder. So he'll wind it up pretty tight this time. Got her off pretty good and powers down through there. Got a little bit of the bouncies at the end. And somebody asked me what causes that. A lot of times that bounce is caused by trying to turn just a little bit too much gear, because the tires are trying to grab and get traction, and they start jumping out of the track because they're having trouble. 3:16.70, 3:16.70. 2 trucks to go. 2 trucks between Joe Wilsey and the championship here at the Midwest Summer Nationals. We got Jake Thompson coming up next out of Waterman. Calls the truck off the rails. I see a Hot Farm tractor staging up in our new way we got it running things around here. Again, we want to thank our great sponsors here for the 2025 Midwest Summer Nationals. I want to thank the good folks at ABC Supply Company, also Fisher Excavating, JC Wi-Fi, Stevenson County Farm Bureau, Gold Mine Components, FHN, Grade Solutions, Stevenson Service Company, Kelsey Excavation, and Full Throttle Power Sports. Big thanks to them folks stepping up as gold sponsors this year for the Stevenson County Fair. Really appreciate their support. He might still be Duramax powered. I don't know it for a fact, but it sure sounded like it. Is that Duramax powered? I see him shaking his head down there, my railbird. That is Duramax. Yep, okay. I guess my ears aren't all that bad yet. Still running a Duramax. All right, the 50-50's up to $1.25, 125 to the winner. Okay, they're gonna sell tickets about 7 or 8 tractors into the hot farm, and then we're gonna pull our winner. So hopefully we'll get it up to 100.5 on the 50-50. I'll take 150 clamshells, you betcha. $309.12 for the Duramax powered Chevrolet of Jake Thompson. 309.12. One truck, I should say, to go, and it's a good one. This is going to be the trophy hunter, Jamie Lars, Richland Center, Wisconsin. Now, Jamie Lars, he's doing some substitute driving, getting back in the seat of his old truck. He sold this truck, and now he's going to drive it again. That's the way to do it. Sell it, get all the money, then have the guy that bought it have you drive it for him. That's a pretty good operation. Trophy hunter, Jamie Lars, out of Richland Center, Wisconsin. Needs to go 320, 321. He's up in there, and that's not surprising. I believe that truck is our defending champion on the Badger State Tractor Puller circuit for the 3.6 Pro Stock diesel trucks. We'll get the distance. He had to beat 321.09. How about 321.81, your winner? Last hook of the class. Last hook of the class, Jamie Lars takes the win, and he does it by, 8/10 of a foot? 8/10 of a foot, so that's half a foot. Yeah, a little better than half a foot. We're going to drag him right back down here, pull him right back down here in front of the stage, and we're going to present him his championship belt for winning the Midwest Summer Nationals on the last hook of the class. being pretty much like today's probably 82 degrees, I think he said. That's pretty amazing, and I tell you what, the engines, they really like that. Here's 466 Hot Farm of the Badger State Tractor Pullers. And that's Craig Whitaker out of Monroe with his brand new tractor that he calls True Blue. We got 13 tractors entered up in the class here today. And he kind of get over there on the right-hand side of the track and kicking up a little bit of dust. Yeah, the track crew done a tremendous job, but getting a little bit of dust over there on the right-hand side. Nobody been over there and turned it over and got the moisture up. 305.76, 305.76 for Craig Whitaker and his brand new True Blue machine. Yeah, thanks. Here's our diesel truck rundown. Again, Jamie Lars wins the class on the last hook of the class, and he only done it by about a half a foot. Boy, Joe Wiltsey held the lead for the longest time, finishes in second. Josh Stahl third. The Rock diesel truck, Ryan Dito finished fourth. Penn Farms finishes fifth. The Rumor, Cole Faber, sixth. Chris Lemke with Kurtz, seventh. Greg Stranley with Out of Hand, eighth. Jake Thompson with Off the Rails, 9th. Ben Abbey from Freeport going to finish in 10th with the Charismatic Killer. Sean Puller with the end game finishes 11th as he got to bouncing out there and busted a bunch of plastic truck parts off. And our guy from all the way from Kentucky, Scott Willoughby, going to finish in 12th here today, having trouble getting it off the line. And hopefully he can get that problem rectified before he hits the track again. And I'm guessing Craig Whitaker's keeping his pull. All right, 305.76. All right, we got Jacob Ruff coming on the scene here. Out of Darlington, driving the Fair Warning tractor. All right, we got Jacob Ruff doing the driving on the Fair Warning, and this is Mark Ruff's son. Mark Ruff's boy getting in the seat now. Jacob Ruff jumping in the seat. First time I've seen him run the tractor. I don't know if that means it is his first time. Them Ruff boys, they pull all kinds of stuff up there. Boy, he laid down a good one too. How about 328.66? 328.66. You see it on the Jumbotron up there. 30.3 mile an hour. That's a good run. .328.66. Boy, that really sets the mark here in our 466 hot farm class. Yeah, our Jumbotron up there, Ryan Zolik, our IT man on the spot. Now Ryan said tonight he is not going to utilize the kiss cam and take candid shots of the crowd. He said he's not going to do that and put them up on the big screen. So, yeah, so you're okay. that was quite the deal this last week. Them people, that couple got kind of busted out there at the Coldplay concert. I'd be more embarrassed that I was at a Coldplay concert than anything else. Not that I got caught with my squeeze. Yeah, that was a pretty good story here this last week, though. Here's going to be Brandon Bodenstein out of Highland. Tractor he calls Casual Encounter. I like the name of this tractor, Casual Encounter, because you can take it a couple different ways. I always just say it's a casual encounter with your money. You kind of get it, you hold it for a little bit, and then you get rid of it. Spend it on your pulling tractor. He had a good run up at Monroe last Friday night. We were up there for the Greene County Fair. And he had a good run. I can't remember how he finished, but he was in the top 5, I'm pretty sure of it, with a very, very competitive pass. Just skimming it. He was very well balanced. 30.2 mile an hour was his top speed reached, which is pretty good. We'll see if it yielded a big distance. Oh, it's a good distance, but it's not going to catch Jacob Ruff. 320.68, 320.68 for Brandon Bodenstein out of Highland with his 1466. Well, this is going to be Ben Hayen on the Dozing Through machine out of Milledgeville. We'll be heading down to Milledgeville for the Carroll County Fair here in a couple of weeks. We got pulling down there on Tuesday night. Tuesday night at the Carroll County Fair, we pull mini modifieds, and the ISP guys pull a bunch of trucks. And then we go back on Wednesday night for a Badger State show. I think we'll probably have 4 or 5 classes of Badger State tractors down there on Wednesday night at the Carroll County Fair. And that's just in a couple of weeks. You know, we start getting into August, man. The summer slips by us pretty quickly. But Ben Hayen, he's coming off a pretty big victory out in Monticello, Iowa, at the Great Jones County Fair here last week. The tractor sounded a little iffy at the end of the run. It started popping. I'm not sure what that was all about. I don't even know if it's still running. He had to go 328.66. Ben Hayen goes 329.69. Your new leader. 329.69 by a foot. By a full foot, he goes into the lead. I'm concerned about the health of the tractor, though. They're going to tow him off. It's not running, and it started popping a little bit at the end of the run. I'm not sure what that popping was about, unless it was a turbocharger saying, I'm expired. All right, here we go. This is going to be Dominic Holgraffer out of Bellevue, Iowa. Mama's Money Reloaded. And Dominic, he's been chasing the Badger State circuit the last couple years and doing quite well. He comes across the Big Muddy from over Iowa and runs the Badger State circuit, and he does well. He holds more than his own. I'd look for a pretty good run out of Mama's Money here. He is up in the thick of it. And looks like he attained 30.6 mile an hour on his pass. Oh boy, it's getting crowded at the top. He had to beat 329.69. He goes 328.92. That will put him solidly into second place. 328.92. Good for second. Well, I tell you what, the track is holding up very, very well. Mark Kelsey and Laverne Weber and all the track crew, they've done a tremendous job building the track. And the true testament is when you pull in the afternoon like this, and run. I think we're on our four classes in the afternoon. You're just asking for trouble. I mean, really, most places the track will turn to dust and concrete all in the same shot, but not the case here today. Them guys done a great job getting a lot of moisture down into the track, and they've been maintaining it very, very well today. There's some dry patches on the edges. That's just because nobody's gone down there and turned the soil over and brought up some moisture. And I don't know if it'd be to your advantage to try to run one of the sidelines and try to utilize that little bit of dry stuff on the top. Because sometimes that little bit of dry stuff will help the pan slide a little bit easier, kind of like little ball bearings. You know, that little dry stuff gets underneath there and helps the pan slide just a little bit easier. But on the same token, your tires don't get as much of a bite. So I don't know if anybody's going to get sneaky like that. Oh, you got the just feeling around Mike Lufborough from Milton. Track where that good moisture's at. Can't say I blame them, because that's looks to me like some pretty good traction out there. All right, last call on the 50-50. They're going to make one last lap on the 50-50. It's up to $175. Up to $175 on the 50-50. This is the last call. They're going to make one last lap through the stands over there. So if you haven't bought one and you've been thinking about it, yeah, you buy one. It's probably going to be $200 when it's all said and done. I don't know about you, but I can always use a couple of C notes. Well, let's see where we're at here. Mike Lufborough, 325.64. 325.64. Our leader is Ben Hayen, 329.69. Dominic Holgraffer rolls in. He's sitting second at 328.92. And then Jacob Ruff, 328.66. That's our top three. And that is really tight pulling. I believe Mike Lufborough just pulled into fourth at 325.64. We'll have Steve Aldhouse out of Sublet coming up next, a 4450 John Deere. All right, this here gonna be Steve Aldhouse from Sublet. John Deere 4450. we want to thank our great sponsors here. ABC Supply Company, Fisher Excavating, JC Wi-Fi, Stevenson County Farm Bureau, also Gold Mine Components, FHN, Grade Solutions, Stevenson Service Company, Kelsey Excavating, and Full Throttle Power Sports. A big thanks to all them folks helping step up and make the pulling possible here at the Stevenson County Fair and the Midwest Summer Nationals. $315.40 for Steve Aldhouse. $315.40. That'll bring up Rod Hogan out of Broadhead with the Hustlin' Harvester. He'll be our next puller. Also want to thank the folks at Adkins Energy, Citizen State Bank, Freeport Ford, Savenica, also Triangle Tree Care, Rev Renewables, Foresight Financial Group, Compeer Financial, the Carol Flugel family, TriStar Metal, Kohlberg High Performance Tractor Repair, Cerrone Piping, and Titan Tire. Yeah, Titan Tire, we really want to thank them. They've really stepped up support of their local hometown county fair. They got a big display back behind the bleachers here showing the tires. The Parks Puller, it's a specially built tire for tractor pulling. Bob Parks developed it, and it's just known as the Parks Puller. And that tire is produced right here in Freeport out at Titan Tire. They're building that tire for Bob Parks. It's the Parks Puller, and they're building them right out at Titan Tire. And I think they got some examples of it behind the grandstand. And it's pretty interesting that you got a local business that's building such an integral part of the sport of tractor pulling right here in Freeport, Titan Tire. And they've stepped up their game, sponsoring the fair and in several other different ways. And a big thanks to them folks. But take a look at their display when we're done pulling this afternoon, and look at that pulling tire that they produce right here in Freeport for the pullers. The Parks Puller, produced by Titan Tire. Rod Hogan from Broadhead, the Hustlin' Harvester. Right now, Ben Hayen holds the lead in this thing. Out of Milledgeville, he's out there at 3:29.69. Boy, you got a couple of guys 3:28. It is crowded at the top. He drug it a long ways at the end of the run. 29.8 mile an hour. I think the other guys were hitting 30, but again, speed. We don't judge it on speed. We judge it on distance. Yeah, and it's going to show 3:23.77. 3:23.77. He's going to be 5 feet off the lead. Well, this here is going to be the Diamond Deere. This is a John Deere, obviously. And today we got Tracy Paulson doing the driving. Tracy is coming off a big win last Friday night at the Greene County Fair up in Monroe. We had ourselves a dozen or 13 hot farms in Monroe at the Greene County Fair. And Tracy jumped in the seat and she won the class by 3 feet in a very tightly contested hot farm class. Tracy and her husband Melvin, they campaigned the tractor, and Melvin drives too, but everybody agrees Tracy's the better driver. So when it gets to be a big pull, and they really want to do well, they put Tracy in the seat. And here she is getting the driving job here at the Midwest Summer Nationals. Yeah, Tracy, she's good. She can wheel this thing, and she drives tractor on the farm too. She's a pretty face to be sure, but she knows how to handle a tractor. How about it, ladies? Let's get behind Tracy here. Speed, 31 miles an hour. That's always a good indication. Let's see if she got it done. Yeah, 31 mile an hour. That's a good speed from what we've seen. She had to beat 329. How about 332.7? Your new leader. 332.7. Tracy Paulson takes over the lead. Melvin, I don't know if you're going to get to drive anymore or not. Oh, she just laid down another tremendous pass. 332 by let's see, three feet. And that's just what she did up at Monroe. She won it by 3 feet. Everybody else was all stacked up at Monroe, and she come up and won it by 3 feet. And we got everybody stacked up here today, and she just come up and put 3 feet on them. Great pull, Tracy. We'll see if you're going to be the recipient of a championship belt here this afternoon. We got 4 tractors to run. Still feeling around out of Milton. That's kind of one of our markers that we're looking at. Warren Loughborough still fueling around. He's going to be a contender. Needs to get the other side of 332. Not going to do it. 328.83 for Warren Loughborough. Still fueling around. 328.83. Oh, we're going to draw. 200 smackers, cash. Oh, they're going to give it to me. And look at this. We're being videotaped. If it's on the Jumbotron, we're good. Here is your number. It's a blue ticket. Blue ticket. Hey, they're all, okay. It's a blue ticket. Here's your number for $200. 955987. 955987 for 200 smackers. You hold that, you hold that, young lady. If you got the, now hold it. I haven't checked my tickets yet. You can't be claiming it before I know that I'm a loser. What was it?
955987.
I'm a loser. Somebody's got it over there. Jump up and down. Okay, you guys gonna take it over to him?
We'll take it over.
Oh, look at that, $200 delivered. Thank you, young lady. You can take my losers and throw them away for me, please. Thank you. Somebody told her, good job, she drew out the wrong ticket. Well, thank you, everybody, for playing that. $200, and 200 goes to the Junior ROTC for their fundraising efforts, so they really appreciate it. Hopefully we can do a little better tonight and tomorrow night. I hope the word gets out about the free grandstand here at the Stevenson County Fair. Let's fill this place up like we used to years ago. And here comes the Meyer family machine. This is going to be Lane Meyer, the 466 Express coming out of Monroe. 3 tractors to run before we wrap this baby up. And a nice pull out to 327.86. 327.86. We only got 2 more tractors to run. Two tractors between Tracy Paulson and her championship belt here today. We got Sean Struder coming up next out of Waterford with his Ford. Then we'll have local guy Dave Baker out of Polo wrapping up the class. And remind everybody, 6 o'clock, we'll be starting it back up again tonight. We'll be starting off with mini modifieds of the PPL Western Series. And then Robert, what do we got after that tonight? I don't even know. Oh, we got Champions Tour Super Farm, so that'll be a whole bunch of Badger State tractors and a bunch of guys from that travel the circuit. Probably have 20 of them in the class, I'm guessing. And then Badger State Pro Stocks. And I tell you what, Badger State Pro Stocks, we had 11 of them up at Monroe Friday night, and it was a barn burner of the class. Hopefully they all show up here tonight. If they do, we are in for a treat. And we're going to start at 6 o'clock tonight. So we're trying to get everybody, try to get through it. And, we understand it's a work night for those of you that still have to work, not me. Here we go. Sean Struder from Waterford, Wisconsin, got his Ford. These guys got 2 tractors. They got a hot farm and then they got a pro farm. Pro farm tractor pro right now. kicking and digging towards the end of his run. Only a couple of Fords running in the hot farm class. Yeah, 321.63. 321.63. Remind all you pullers that we've got a hospitality tent. We'll be serving up some victuals here probably in an hour or so, something like that. Sponsored by MB Machine, Kohlberg High Performance Tractor Repair, Ingle King Dyno Service, Aaron Kleckler, Parks Custom Tire Cutting, David Runkle, Rod Wickman, and Link Feed Ingredients, all sponsors of our hospitality tent. Gonna feed our gizzard. At four, they say. Okay. And how we doing on our Mickey Mouse here? Oh, it's just a little after 3. We started at noon. We are doing good. No, we started at 12:30, didn't we? Oh yeah. I've been running an hour off all week. Yeah, we started at 12:30. So yeah, we're whacking through 4 classes in way less than 3 hours. That's a good job, boys. Good job, pullers. Good job, track crew. Good job, Brandon, on the sled. That's everybody making that effort happen. Well, here we go. Last tractor of the afternoon. Dave Baker from Polo, many-time point champion over the years. Been pulling in hot farm for decades. Comes up from Polo. He travels a little bit further, a few extra miles than a lot of the pullers to attend all the Badger State pulls, but this is the time of year when the circuit comes down to his backyard. One last tractor to go between Tracy Paulson and victory. Tracy's sitting out there at 332.7. She is the only puller in the 330s. Got a whole bunch of them piled up in the 328s. And everybody's been running right down the middle of the track because you can see that that's where the good moisture is at.
There's so much good fight there. You don't really, unless you really want to take a chance, you really don't want to move on to that.
Okay, so now what? Let's see what the distance is. Dave Baker, he's a good puller. He's right up there. He had to beat 332. Not going to do it. 327.85. 327.85. Your champion is going to be Tracy Paulson. How about that, ladies? We'll get Tracy out front here and award her championship belt for her win here at the Midwest Summer Nationals. We'll give Tracy her championship belt, and we got ourselves a nice little 3-hour break here, folks, before we start pulling again tonight. Call your neighbors, call your in-laws, tell everybody, hey, you got to get out to the fair. It's free grandstand. Free grandstand. Get out to the fair. Let's fill this place up.